A number of factors are weighing the global economy down. At the center of them, clearly we see uncertainty. Uncertainty about what policymakers can and will deliver on their promises.
The IMF fires a warning to central bankers and politicians: deliver reforms or risk the global recovery. Lagarde says she's also likely to lower forecasts for growth next month. All this as ECB chief Mario Draghi travels to Berlin today to discuss his plan for saving the euro with Angela Merkel. Let's get straight to Josh Raymond, market strategist, City Index. Morning to you, Josh. Can Draghi convince the Germans?
Well, it's a difficult job for everyone to try and convince the Germans. We know how stubborn Merkel has already shown previously. We've seen it yesterday again with the banking union and the clauses that come in with that, and also the time frame to try and get that out. We saw Hollande try to speed that thing through. To be honest with you, it is a meeting between obviously Draghi and Merkel, so the headlines will be there. The market could react to some of the headlines and the sentiment that comes out of it. But I'm not really expecting anything that's going to be a big changer for the way the market's going to trade today out of that meeting specifically. I'm
also seeing the Bundesbank checking the legality of the OMT, of the bond purchase plan. Are they going to make much headway there?
Again, I mean, we saw previously with, you see the sentiment around sort of the legalities of the ESM, for instance. We saw that through the German constitutional courts. That was ratified. The Bundesbank obviously have moved to be somewhat of an opposition to some of the ECB measure. But again, I don't think anything dramatic is going to come out of this. If it did, it would be a bit of a surprise.
Big picture, US consumer confidence numbers out this afternoon. What are your expectations?
You're right, yeah, US consumer confidence. We're expecting that to nudge a bit higher. It was 60.6 last time around. Should come in around the 63 level again. We have seen, obviously, the Fed move, so this could be a good way to see the market's reaction towards that. So we are expecting a stronger US consumer confidence data out this afternoon. Do
you think September could be the month when we see the beginning of the end to this global slowdown and perhaps a crisis in the Eurozone?
Not really, no. I think this one's still got a long way to go, personally. I think, obviously, we've seen all these central banks come out with some stimulus measures, so the ECB with outright monetary transactions, the Fed obviously moved for QE3. I think the next one that everyone's looking towards is China. You know, China have got a holiday coming up the next week, I think it is. They haven't moved on the stimulus front. I think the market's still waiting to see what they're going to do.
And a quick a corporate story, this Glencore story. They've suspended their shares in Hong Kong. Apparently a sensitive announcement going to be made. What is the story behind this?
So this is about their investment in Kazink. You know, they were expecting to increase their majority holding to around 90, well above 95%. I think the market was expecting that to come around lower than 70%. It's around 69%. So that was what the suspension was. They're still trading here in London.
Great. Thanks a lot, Josh. Another story Reuters is following, another corporate story. Three former Olympus executives and the company itself have pleaded guilty to a $1.7 billion accounting cover-up. The scandal, one of Japan's biggest, was exposed last October by Chief Executive Michael Woodford, seen there, who was sacked after querying dubious deals that had been used to conceal the losses. Staying in Asia, workers of a Foxconn plant in northern China have returned to work. Let's get to Tara Joseph in Hong Kong. Tara, the incident is over, but of course the spotlight once again on labour conditions, working conditions in China.
That's right, Axel. It was an ugly night at this factory of 79,000 people. And we can't really get to the bottom yet as to why they were upset and what sparked the violence. But it is a reminder of the dark side of what's going on as we see all of these glossy phones being unveiled in chic boutiques around the world. There are some difficult working conditions. Chinese workers are unhappy, and sometimes things blow up. It's also a reminder of this incredible distribution zone that's built up and how it could go wrong.
What is the link now with the production of the iPhone 5 and this plant in particular? Is there a link? What do we know?
Well, Foxconn does not say which of its plants actually assembles the iPhone. We have some Reuters reporters on the ground in northern China now, and one employee has actually said that they do make the iPhone there. However, what we're hearing from the factory and Foxconn is that assembly is going on as normal. Everyone's back to work and nothing has changed. So I guess we'll have to wait and see a little bit whether production has been affected at all.
Great. Thanks a lot, Tara. Top world news stories on Reuters at this hour. Iran's President Ahmadinejad says Israel has no roots in the Middle East and will be eliminated. He ignored a UN warning to avoid incendiary rhetoric ahead of his speech Wednesday at the annual General Assembly. The US State Department called the comments disgusting, offensive and outrageous. More trouble in the East China Sea. Japanese Coast Guards have blasted water cannon at more than 40 fishing boats from Taiwan in waters it considers its own. Taiwan, China and Japan claim the seas around the islands, known as Senkaku in Japan and Diaoyu in China. Japan says 4 Chinese surveillance vessels and 2 Chinese fishery patrol ships were in nearby waters, but outside its territory. The international mediator on Syria, Lakhdar Brahimi, says he has a few ideas but no full plan on how to end the country's 18-month conflict. He described the situation in the country as extremely bad and getting worse. That is it for this Tuesday morning. I'll leave you with our pick of the day. Comes today from Reuters photographer Jason Reed. Shows US President Barack Obama arriving aboard Marine One at the Wall Street heliport in New York, ahead, of course, of the UN General Assembly. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.